for thinking that I know you're not sure. Make a long stop, ready or not. I see you, but I need to know more. What you wanna do? Cause I know we didn't dance, but I saw you watching on the dance floor. Maybe at the exit door, and baby we could talk some more. Oh yeah, you stand beside me. Oh, you're watching me, and you feel it.
Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it, pursue it, work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, if you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you're like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Amina. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessing.
Yeah.
Greetings, and good afternoon, Juneteenth family. First off, happy New Year's to everybody. Happy 2023. I hope that you all had a very good, safe, and fun holiday weekend and time with the family. I know I did. So for today's Lunch and Learn, we have the honor of having Mr. Kelvin Taitt, one of our Juneteenth board members, an amazing master of ceremony, just a person of many hats and a person that is of God and just an all-around amazing bright light. So let's bring Kelvin up to the stage. Come on, Kelvin. Hey,
hello.
Look at that smile. So nice to have you here with us today.
Nice to be here.
So
good to finally sit down and chat with you.
Right. I'm like, it's like I feel like I know you, but from a distance, from our chat group and whatnot. But I know that you're really dope, amazing, and you have shown up and shown out since you've joined the Juneteenth board. I just love having you as part of the team. I'm so grateful that Athenia was blessed to add you to the team. So outside of Juneteenth, we came here today to talk about another initiative that Kelvin is working on, something that is really important to our communities, that's really important to, it speaks to where we are in our world right now. Talking about $6 lettuce,
eggs.
And that's just on a list of many things that are growing in price are just nuts. The lack of people knowing where to go, what to do, how to help, how to support. So I would love to help and help people get an idea, expand ideas, try to help come up with some ideas, as well as for you to share with us what exactly you're up to, what the name of your organization is, and let's see where it takes us.
Okay, so where do we start? Outside of Juneteenth, the organization that I run and co-founded is called East Brooklyn Mutual Aid. This was something that was developed during COVID, right shortly after I recovered from having COVID myself, and just wanting to do something to support my neighbors and support others. You know, having COVID was such a terrible experience for many people, myself included. And for me, it was like, how can I do something to be appreciative and grateful for still having this life and for still getting another opportunity where many others didn't. And it came to me to feed my neighbors, to raise money, to make sure that people that lived within my community were okay, that they had everything that they needed. And I joined forces with a few neighbors and we created a mutual aid group, which none of us really understood when we started, but it was simply about us as a community supporting each other. Some folks had, some folks didn't, and we wanted to create a network where we could share in what we had together. And East Brooklyn Mutual Aid was born. Actually, it was Ocean Hill, Brownsville, but we've expanded because we realized that our community was much larger than where we were. And that there were other neighborhoods that needed support too. So we grew really quickly to support those neighbors. Our organization delivers groceries to neighbors in the East Brooklyn area completely for free twice a week. We participate in grocery giveaways. We participate in farmers markets. We participate in any and all initiatives that involves educating our community on healthier food, more nutritious food, and where that access is for food in their community.
Beautiful. And where are some of the places? Where are the places that say, where would this information be found? Is it shared at schools? Can they sign up to a website? Can people, how do we get the word spread about the initiative and about the organization that you have going?
Yeah. So we're going through a bit of a rebrand for 2023. Thankfully, we are working with some amazing partners to open our own grocery store. That grocery store is going to be located, the first one, in Cypress Hills in Brooklyn. So we are rebranding our website. We are building an e-commerce site that'll support that store. We are, looking at ways to be able to better serve our neighbors and to allow them to shop for their food with dignity. We're working with many food pantries to partner in creating spaces and infrastructure that will allow them to also allow their clients and their community members to shop with dignity and to give them better access and choice to nutritious food. So right now we are working with other organizations and other businesses in our community. So we work heavily with the Christian Cultural Center. We work with United for Brownsville. We work with Teens for Food Justice, where there is a aquaponic farm in Brownsville Collaborative Middle School that we support and deliver their produce that is grown by the students, the people in our community. So look out for our website. We're rebranding it in 2023, along with a bunch of other things in our grocery store that's called Black Radish.
That's so amazing. So I want to implore to folks out there that if you have an organization, if you have an into a school, or if your school is looking for an initiative to bring to your school, if you have a program, reach out to them. This is something that it's huge. A lot of times, so many of us have that the ones that don't have, they go missed. And they literally, like you said, are our neighbors. They're the people that are right next door to us. They're the people that we're sitting on trains and buses with. They're the people that we talk to sometimes every day that may not have that may be too proud to actually share with you exactly where they are in the moment. So what came up for me was to ask, what does your organization need? Like, what is it that the community can bring to you guys? You can also share at the same time what some of the challenges have been, maybe starting with the challenges and what it is that you guys need, whether it be co-op kitchens, whether it be spaces where maybe a co-op kitchen could use you guys. Are you guys a 501?
We are. We are a 501c3, yes.
Huge for people to know that if they could think and expand their ways of giving back, or their ways, maybe their kitchen, maybe they have a co-op kitchen that's not being used or not being rented, and they could still make some money or write off something or knock off some of that red going in the red by giving back to your organization and others like it. So I'm going to pass the mic to you, and you let us what are those challenges and what is it that you need?
So we have very large vision. So we are visualizing to build, multiple grocery stores in all of the areas of East Brooklyn that we serve, which includes Ocean Hill, Brownsville, East New York, Cypress Hills, Starrett City, Canarsie. We're also looking at building infrastructure that's much larger than the grocery stores, which we're calling food hubs. And it's not something that we have, came up with. This is something that a lot of organizations and a lot of organizers in New York and beyond have been working on and have built in other places. But during COVID, we realized that we were receiving a lot of food to support the folks that needed it. Pantries were receiving extra amounts of food, and anyone that was doing food initiatives, we were getting truckloads of milk and frozen chicken and other perishable items. And we didn't have facilities to store or to refrigerate or to freeze any of that. So we were forced with the options of figuring out how to give it out within 5 hours before all of it thaws out and starts to go bad, or throw it away, and we don't want to go through that again in the event that another pandemic hits our way. So we're looking at building infrastructure in our communities that has the capabilities to store and to save and preserve items, and for even the community gardens and the local catering companies and the chefs that need refrigeration and spaces as well. Our food hubs have the infrastructure that include warehousing and storage, refrigeration. We're looking at culinary education centers and community kitchens. I know you mentioned, spaces where entrepreneurs or community businesses can rent out their spaces. Well, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that don't have access to those spaces or can't afford those spaces. So we want to be a part of creating those spaces for those people, and also marketplaces, places where these entrepreneurs and these BIPOC providers can sell and market their goods, but also receive the proper support and the resources that they need to grow and scale their businesses. Hydroponic and aquaponic farms and learning centers. We want to be able to grow our own food and supply our communities with the food that we grow. We noticed that during the pandemic, we were being sent food from any and everywhere that they can get it. A lot of it not nutritious at all, some of it really good, but we want to be able to control our food, what we receive, where we receive it from, and how it's given to us. So we've been investing in some of our regional farmers, and not just any farmers, but we've investing specifically in Black and brown farmers. We have loaded buses of people from this community upstate New York to spend the day working on farms, planting and seeding and helping farmers and giving them the support that they desperately need. We have 2 farms that we support right now, the Blackyard Farm Collective, which is about an hour north of Albany, 2 Black farmers from the Bronx. They have a 43-acre farm. They have livestock. They have vegetables that we've been supporting and helping them get their farm up and running. We've been able to secure donations to help them furnish their home from some partners that we have upstate New York. And then we also have Trinity Farms in Clintondale, which is 30 acres of apples, which this year, 2022 alone, we've helped facilitate over $60,000 worth of sales for them. So we're very focused in building a circular economy and investing in our communities right here and the partners that help it run. So what we need support to continue to do those things. We need to support financially, monetarily, to support our farmers and our providers with the markets and the opportunities, and continue to buy their stock and their crops and supporting them in that way, continuing to invest in their farms, helping them build fencing and structures, helping them with food and labor costs. If we can grow our own food and sell it in our own grocery stores that we control and that we own, the access is there. The healthy options are there because we know we grew them ourselves. We know where they came from. We have local gardens that we want to support here in our communities. East New York alone has over 100 community gardens, more than most of New York City. We want to be able to support them as well. And, I'm sure will need storage for all of their crops that are grown throughout the year. And, this is food that goes into our community. We want to be able to invest in that. So donating to our cause, supporting our efforts to volunteer and support our providers and our farmers, supporting our farmers markets when we have them in the spring. We're planning on doing a monthly farmers market at the Christian Cultural Center and various other places that we will announce. And really, we also do visioning sessions in East New York in the Industrial Business Zone with a group of organizations, the Coalition for Community Advancement, University, the East New York Community Land Trust, and various other partners. And we're visualizing what city-owned lots can be if they're controlled by the community. What businesses can we erect? What can we bring to our community in this zone that has lost a lot of jobs and has not received the support that we were supposed to in the past years? So we are visualizing what cannabis businesses could look like in our community that are controlled and run by our communities, what food businesses look like, what manufacturing design businesses look like. So be a part of the conversation. If you have resources, skills, or talents that you can offer, those are the principles of mutual aid. give what you have, take what you need. So if you can give in those areas and you can't give monetarily, that is of more value to us because you're helping us as a community strengthen and build our infrastructure. So those are the ways, in short.
I love that. I was like, what was coming up for me is I'm like, these are so this work that you've done, what you have on, first of all, it's big and it's amazing. And like just hearing where you plan on going with it, what started to come up for me was, this is it. This is it. These are the steps that will get us to our Black Wall Street again. These are steps that will get us to forget Black Wall Street. This is the things that'll have us having our own Crown Heights.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Here.
Why we
Right.
don't have our ambulances, buses, everything that we need. And that's what I hear you guys doing. You guys are doing the food portion and everything that comes from food, all of the sustenance that comes from it.
Yeah.
For the people that are providing it, for the people that need it, for the people that can't afford it. And then just the endless possibilities that I hear. And I almost, because my mind is very interactive and very imaginative. So I started to go to this place where it's like, okay, excuse my language, hits the fan. If things hit the fan, because I watch too many movies, and again, that imagination can run wild.
What happened?
So I was thinking of what are the ways that we would survive? Because that's a movie, but I hear you creating something that would have us be able to sustain ourselves if we're able to still, whatever it is that imagination is popping up, because we got weather, you got all kinds of stuff going there.
Global
but
warming.
I think the point that I see a sustainable future through sustaining ourselves just right here, right now, through what you guys are doing. So I definitely pray that everyone out there that is listening today will share this video, please. I hope that you guys share every week's video, but this one right here, please, community, I need you all to share it to your pages. This is a conversation. All of our Lunch and Learn conversations should be viral, but this is a conversation that goes beyond Lunch and Learn, that goes beyond Juneteenth, that is about our surviving and our becoming bigger than what we are right now. It's our Wakanda.
Right. And I want to point out that it's important for me, especially as an executive in the nonprofit space, to be able to support the community with what they need. I'm not in this to make money. We're not in this to bank a bunch of dollars and keep them in the bank for emergency. People need support now. And we're making sure that we're a part of what's happening now, but also planning for the future and allowing ourselves, the opportunity for sustainability. But a lot of what we've seen is people think that nonprofits have lost their touch in supporting the community. And we want to be a part of the conversation that shifts to where we are reimagining the work that can be done in our communities, and not necessarily looking at the structure of our organization, but what is our impact and how are we doing that differently? Looking at what's been done, and nothing against food pantries. They are doing amazing, important work. But there is a point where our communities need to get past the point of impoverishment, where we are reliant on free food that is transported across the country days and hours. And when it arrives to us, we are in the pantries digging through and pulling out moldy and old and waste out of the food, and then serving that food, what we've sorted through it and deemed as the better quality, and serving that to our communities. We deserve so much better than that. And the farmers that we have worked with, we have placed orders, and within 48 hours had a delivery right from the vegetable field into our communities. That is the type of harvest that we deserve. That is the type of quality of food that we deserve. We had a farmer upstate that delivered us bushels of callaloo that were literally like over a foot long, and this was 8 leaves. It was the best thing that I've ever seen. And the morning of delivery, they were in the field, harvesting and cutting this callaloo, threw them in a truck, and then drove them down to our community. And they were distributed in our pantries and in our initiatives the same day. Like, this is the level and caliber that we deserve and we should be striving for.
I'm like
nothing less.
And what folks don't, so what I hear and what you just shared is that food that hit that table that day, there's vibration energy in farm to table that is not really honored the way that it should be. I am, with my spirituality and my understanding, my level of it, it's really understanding that the vibrations that would transport it, it's a movement. This is a movement, is what I hear that you guys are working on and that are creating. You're creating a movement because those folks who received those items may not have recognized it, but I'm sure it elevated. It elevated not just because it came from you guys, but because of how it was done. I hear integrity. I hear so much integrity in what you guys are creating and in who you're connecting with. The fact that, folks like to talk about us like we can't get things done, and y'all are getting things done. To get crops chopped down and delivered to a city and in folks and on their tables within hours, that's huge because we know farm to table when you live somewhere where the farm is close and like if you go up to Yonkers and different places up in Westchester, it's easy to get farm to table because it's very close and it's also a conversation in that community. It's not a conversation enough in our community about farm to table. And then there's back to what I was saying, that a lot of times we're looked at as BIPOC folks as not having integrity and not being able to show up. And you guys are doing that. So I definitely want to commend you guys. And I'll definitely be putting you guys on my prayer list to continue to
please do
to get what it is you guys need. Community out there, let's check the community chat because I know we had some chats going on and some our own Tippy says St. Timothy.
Hey, Pippi.
Church, Brownsville Food Pantry thanks you for your donations to their pantry. They were right on time. And then we had the For Us By Us. I definitely love the sound of that because we definitely will wear our clothes for us by us. But I would love some food that is all the way, not just from the kitchen, but all.
Could you imagine that you go up to one of these farms and you're part of the team that plants crops for the upcoming season, and then you come back at the end of the season and you harvest your own crops that you grew yourself, and then you bring it back home and serve it to your family? There are people that we've taken to this farm that have never stepped foot on a farm, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. I mean, just the connection alone to the land, for our people, and to be able to put their hands in the soil was just such an important moment that we all enjoyed. And it was just really great.
Wow. I could only imagine. My closest feeling to either one of those things is one, growing up, my great grandma's house used to have an apple tree in the back. So we were able to just like our childhood up to 14. And that was when they started spraying the crops in our town in Virginia with pesticides. And then I started getting sick from those apples, and then the apple tree died. But that was life. You pick that apple up and rub it and keep going. But as my spiritual side, we do a lot of work where it includes putting our hands in the earth and just harvesting plants. Yeah. But never necessarily a crop that I can come back and eat. So I'm like, I could only imagine that. I'm so looking forward to having a piece of land one day to get that going. But now I need to even see if there are any farms when I get back to Atlanta that are taking volunteers that would just come in. And I mean, because I love to hike and I love outdoors. So that would actually have me giving back to my community and getting that feeling that you're talking about. Whether it's to my table or someone else's, I just know that would be good. So folks out there, if it's something that you're thinking about, volunteer, because I know sometimes we don't know exactly where we can volunteer. There's always questions that we can ask, and just putting ourselves out there sometimes. Sometimes people will reach back. So we have a comment from the automator. Says, love the community kitchen. Would there be community events where we could bring the community together and do targeted programming to help build up our community?
In all of our designs, we are absolutely including an event space in the food hubs, because what's the use of having a community kitchen or a test kitchen if you can't bring folks in to entertain and to enjoy it? So absolutely, we're working on projects in East New York in the industrial business zone. We have a great partnership with the Christian Cultural Center, who just got approved for their redevelopment of Urban Village in East New York, Starlight City. So there's conversation there about food infrastructure. And then also in Brownsville, we are part of the conversation where we're looking to build a food hub that would live right on the border of Crown Heights and Brownsville, on Eastern Parkway. So absolutely, we're looking at what makes sense for each of these spaces. They're unique to the communities in which they will live in, and community support and as to what goes there is top of mind.
Got you. And question for you, as far as this came up for me actually earlier, and I meant to ask, being a Bronx girl, I'm a born and raised Bronx girl, lived here up until last year. Would there ever be a day, so the automator, first of all, said amazing to your response. So please feel free to reach out to Kevin and get in contact to see what you guys can partner on together. I love partnering with power.
Yes.
And eventually, once you guys have set up you kind of have that where it's like a actual system and structure, would you guys be stretching it out to the other boroughs as well? Or if someone reached out to you from the other boroughs and wanted help or support in setting up theirs or partnering with you somehow, would you guys be open to that?
Absolutely. We are definitely not the only ones doing this work in New York. I was just a part of a 1-year fellowship with other people, it was community organizers and architects and designers. It was a fellowship through Urban Design Forum and the Mayor's Office of Food Policy. We were exploring food equity in all 5 boroughs of New York City. So there's definitely movements going on in Mott Haven in the Bronx, and Corona in Queens, and Harlem, and Washington Heights. So we definitely want to be a part of the conversation of what works best and best practices. I recently in that fellowship wrote a report on some best practices. So we want to be a part of the conversation of what works best for us all as a community of New York, but also figuring out what works best for our community specifically. And if we can be the model for what other communities do, then absolutely, we want to be involved in that.
Beautiful. I know I have seen in Harlem before, and I think I remember a story in the Bronx where there was a new store owner that wanted it gone, and it was a lot of like community uproar. Do the refrigerators that they put outside and have where people can drop off items that maybe they want to give and then maybe need, do those actually work? And would that be something that someone could do, maybe to start out small? Or
so yes, they work. Yes, there are a lot of people that rely on the free fridge community to feed themselves and their family. There are many concerns around what the refrigerators can bring. There are health concerns. There are sanitary concerns. So there really needs to be an invested interest in maintaining and upkeeping these refrigerators because they're a good value to the people that sometimes need it. There are people that are unhoused that really have nowhere to go for food. And sometimes these refrigerators have just what they need. So anywhere where we can fill a gap, I think is important. But there has to be a vested interest. And making sure that there's an organization or an individual that is ensuring, standards.
Gotcha. Got my own little ideas over here percolating. I'll definitely share with you, but I ain't sharing with the world. So definitely, I love this conversation, Kelvin, and I know you were very detailed, but I would love, first off, Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
So this will become my new practice. My new practice is asking folks that come with us, what exactly does Juneteenth mean to you?
Juneteenth symbolizes the day that we as slaves were notified that we were free. It symbolizes our freedom. Yes, that we were free before, but to know that something is absolute, and it's definite is like no other feeling. It's like when you receive the best news and like that contract is finally signed or that deal is finally done. And not to really compare it to that, but just giving you an idea. That's what it means. It means that the declaration of our freedom, the day that we were no longer underneath someone else's control. And I love what Athenia has done over the last 13 years to ensure that our communities knew about our history and that we participated in this celebration. And every year, she strives to make it bigger and better. And the pillars around education, empowerment, and entertainment, is all very important to our community.
Very much so. It is definitely one of the most proud things that I have. This was what came for me out of COVID was, something like that. But joining the team, I should say joining the team. I joined during that 10th year when it was that go virtual. It was either she was going to go home or go virtual. And I was so proud of her. And she went virtual, and just what has grown from it on top of what she had created that 10 years before. I know you already know, I don't have to talk about the feeling, how the heart expands when I think about the ripple, when I think about the ripple impact. Every year that she adds on the intention, that deep-rooted intention to fill our community with everything that it needs, it just gets this ripple effect. I have it that this is something that is going to spread nationally. I know that that's the goal, but I feel like it's already happening.
One thing that I would say is the Juneteenth celebration, the team, the production, the visionary behind it. The one word that I would use to describe it all is faithful. There's so much faith that is rooted in the work that we as a team do. Last year was my first year being brought onto the team, and Athenia and I met just doing, food work within the community, and knowing my background working in music and I was in music for over a decade. I was managing artists and developing artists and working for labels and management companies and radio stations. And, she said, I need help producing the concert and the festival with talent. And I know you have a good ear for talent and you work with talent. And she brought me in April, and, Juneteenth, as we know, is in June. And to put together, 2 full days of entertainment and booking artists and 10 artists per day was a really huge feat within 2 months. And I had to have so much faith in what we were doing and knowing that it was going to work out and what's the best that could happen, and just visualizing us standing there in front of the stage and watching all of what we have created. And it was all done through faith and by faith. And I'm so proud that we were able to do that in this 13th year. And then this year, our hopes are a lot bigger and grander in what we want to do. And we know that it's going to work out in the best way possible. And I get so filled being in these spaces with these group of people who have taken their skills and their talents and their resources and brought them to the table, and not looking for anything but to support our culture and support something that is so meaningful to our community. It's that alone fills me up. And I'm looking forward to many, 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 many more years of creating this in this space.
Same here. I'm like, that is a conversation that we could probably go on all day about, because I'm like, so many things keep coming up for me. I'm like, just seeing when you mentioned that you only joined in April of last year, I'm like, I can remember, because last year I wasn't able to participate as much because of my work schedule in our meetings and in that portion of things. So it was like really seeing that chat and seeing how things were moving along. The faith that might have been questioned and it really wasn't, was just intensified and heightened. The faith to know that everything is going to work out okay because of the reason why we show up here. Like you said, we all show up for, I'm sure, different reasons, but the same reason at the same time, which is Athenia and the work that she does and how she's showing up for this work.
It's important to have a tribe.
Amen.
It really is important to have a tribe, because they keep you going, they keep you motivated. You have better discipline when you have accountability partners, people that really believe in you. And when you just feel like you don't have it today, and they speak life into you, and they say, you're missing out on opportunities, and they fill you with so much confidence. I mean, it's great. We really, Athenia does a really, really good job in supporting everyone.
Talking about when she first asked me if I could host the lunch and learn, I was like, huh? And then with the luncheon last year, I'm like, okay, if I don't get to get that position this year, it's quite okay. It doesn't mean anything, but I do know that it was a strength grower for me last year. It definitely helped me
Yes.
have more confidence in myself, just being
Uh-huh.
just being in front of people and doing what she saw in me that I didn't even know was a possibility for me. So what always comes up for me with Juneteenth as a whole, but even more in this organization, and then even more by hearing what you came to share today, because I have it that although that is your, something you got going on and it's COVID, it's still part of this Juneteenth
Right.
energy and what we're out here to do. And what comes up for me is just endless possibilities.
Yeah.
Endless. Like
Yeah.
nothing is impossible when we continue to show up, walking in faith, walking in connection, community, partnering with power. Like there are so many endless possibilities. And then I'm going to stop because then I'll start to get teary eyed and cry.
Let it come out.
So,
I would
so
say that last year was the Juneteenth celebration was my first uh, outdoor live concert event that I've ever produced. So it was definitely
you did
a
that.
builder for me too. Just from everything from building a stage to booking and organizing talent for 8 hours throughout the day and transitions and making sure that we covered all different parts of our Blackness. It was amazing, and I did it scared, and it was better than I ever thought it would be. So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. Well, thank you, Kelvin. I pray that the community out there has received some jewels, not just, from the information, but from the things that we're sharing. Because a lot of times that's where I pick up and catch the things that I need to be grateful for, or even recognize something that I didn't even pick up on just by listening sometimes through other folks, their wins and their joy and their happiness. And I know Juneteenth brings me a lot of joy and happiness being a part of it. So what is it today that you would like the community to walk away with? What are the nuggets and what are the main information that you want them to walk away with in terms of strengthening our sustaining ourselves through food?
I think beyond food even is investing in your community, finding ways to support where you live, support the community around you, support the community that's directly outside of the one you live in. If there's anything that I learned about doing this work through mutual aid, is that our communities are really all that we have. When we go through things, the people that live around us are the folks that we depend on and folks that will look out for us. Back in October, I broke my ankle. And it was my neighbors and the folks that live around me that have supported me, that come here every day to walk my dog, that bring me food, that make sure I have groceries. And this is the same thing that they did for me when I had COVID, and the cycle continues because we're so rooted and grounded in our community and taking care of each other, because who else is going to? So invest in your community, invest in the people around you, and really get into the principles of we're who we have and we should support each other. That's what I would want people to walk away with. And it goes much farther beyond food or beyond events and all of those other things. It's really about getting back to those principles of community.
Ashe, ashe, and amen to that. Thank you, Kelvin. This conversation has been just amazing for me. And I'm so honored to have had you here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was great being here.
Thank you. All right, community. All right. I hope that you guys, like I said, got some amazing nuggets from today's conversation. Please do reach out to Kelvin, partner with him. If you have any ideas, any resources, even any questions, please reach out to him. He is amazing. And if you, I don't know if you guys heard, but he's also an amazing executive producer. I don't know if he's looking to take on more projects, but if you're looking to do something, as you guys saw, we had a NACO, we had so many local amazing talents. We had a fashion show. If you guys were not at last year's Juneteenth, please make sure that you were at this year's, because you're missing out. you're missing out. You're missing out. So community, next week we will have with us Tamara Smith, who is the owner of Sense 2.0 LLC. And we'll be looking forward to see what she's coming here to share with us. I'll see you guys next week. Have an amazing afternoon. Thanks for joining us today.
The last call, thinking that I know you're not sure. Make a long stop, ready or not. I see you, but I need to know more. What you wanna do? Cause I know we didn't dance, but I saw you watching on the dance floor. We be at the exit door, and maybe we could talk some more. Oh yeah, you stand beside me. Oh, you're watching me, and I feel it.
Greetings. Good afternoon, Juneteenth family. Welcome to another weekly Lunch and Learn.
In terms of business, if you have a dream, go for it, pursue it, work hard at it, because with anything that you want to do, it's going to come hard work. You know, if you don't put the hard work, you don't put the time into it, it's not going to flourish the way you want to.
Maybe advice for anybody who's looking to start a business, like just do it. Start off small and then kind of expand. I know sometimes it can be overwhelming, but like once you're in it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this long time ago?
Love you. Tell yourself, I love me too. I love you, Amina. Love you. When you open your heart and your mind, you're opening up to your blessings.
Yeah.